Throughout history, many ordinary people have met their ends in bizarre and unexpected ways. From unusual accidents to strange coincidences, these disturbing stories reveal how life can take unpredictable turns. These accounts offer a surprising glimpse into the strange and sometimes unsettling ways normal lives have come to an end. The story of Gary Hoy is one of those strange and tragic cases that sticks with people not just because of how unusual it was, but because of how quickly a moment meant to impress turned into a fatal mistake. Gary Hoy was a well-respected corporate and securities lawyer at the Toronto firm Holden Day Wilson, known among colleagues as intelligent, passionate, and maybe just a little theatrical. Gary had one party trick that stood out from the rest. He would throw himself against the office windows on the 24th floor to show how sturdy and unbreakable they were. No, seriously, he actually did this, and for a long time it worked. Gary wasn't being reckless just for laughs. He genuinely believed in demonstrating the quality of his office building. The windows were made of tempered glass, and he had performed this stunt multiple times before, bouncing off them like a rubber ball while everyone around him gasped in shock. It became his signature move during office tours, especially when new articling students were visiting. To Gary, it was part science, part confidence, and all showmanship. But on July 9th, 1993, something went horribly wrong. That day, Hoy was giving a tour to a group of law students, proudly showing off the office space and explaining what it was like to work there. In classic Gary fashion, he decided to pull out his famous window stunt because what better way to say welcome to the team than flinging yourself against a pane of glass 24 stories up. He ran at the window once. It held. He did it again, and again the glass didn't break, but this time it didn't need to. The entire window popped out of its frame, and before anyone could react, Gary Hoy fell to his death. It was a surreal moment. The glass didn't shatter. It was still intact, just no longer attached to the building. Engineers later confirmed that the window itself was strong, but the frame wasn't designed to withstand repeated human impact. It wasn't supposed to be tested like that, and the mounting system failed under the stress. The fallout was heavy, not just emotionally, though that was devastating enough for his co-workers and the students who witnessed it, but also professionally. The firm Hoy worked for, Holden Day Wilson, was already facing internal issues. His death brought a great deal of negative attention to the firm, and just a few years later in 1996, the firm shut down entirely, marking one of the largest law firm collapses in Canadian history. To this day, the story of Gary Hoy is often cited as a cautionary tale, sometimes in safety training, sometimes in law lectures, and sometimes on TV shows like Mythbusters or 1000 Ways to Die. But behind the dark humor that occasionally surrounds the retelling, there's a sobering truth. Even intelligent, capable professionals can make fatal miscalculations. Gary Hoy wasn't trying to be reckless. In his mind, he was showing confidence, reliability, and maybe even inspiring the next generation of lawyers. But he underestimated the limits of the materials and the unpredictability of physics. His story serves as a strange and sad reminder that boundaries, even those made of glass, are there for a reason. And maybe, just maybe, office windows should be admired from a safe distance, not used as personal trampolines. In 2022, a tragic accident at a foundry in Mapleton, Illinois, reminded everyone how crucial workplace safety truly is and how quickly things can turn devastating when it's overlooked. Dirks, a 39-year-old melting specialist with only 9 days on the job at Caterpillar Inc., lost his life in a horrific incident that shocked the community and raised serious questions about industrial safety standards. Stephen's job involved working with molten iron, liquid metal heated to temperatures soaring above 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's the kind of heat that instantly melts almost anything it touches, creating a dangerous environment where one wrong step can be fatal. On June 2, 2022, while performing a routine task of taking a sample from a furnace, Stephen fell into an 11-foot-deep vat of molten iron. The impact was instantaneous and deadly. He was incinerated immediately upon contact. This was no ordinary workplace accident. It was an event that could have been prevented. Following an investigation, the U.S. Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, found that Caterpillar had failed to implement required safety measures around the vats of molten metal. There were no guardrails or restraint systems in place to protect workers from falling into the molten iron. This glaring absence of fall protection exposed employees to a life-threatening hazard that should have been carefully managed and guarded against. As a result, OSHA cited Caterpillar for a willful violation, which is a serious charge indicating that the company knowingly ignored safety regulations. The company was fined $145,027, underscoring the gravity of the oversight. This incident also cast a spotlight on ongoing safety concerns at the Mapleton foundry, as it was the second fatality at the facility in just 6 months. While the numbers and legal actions are important, it's essential to remember the human story behind this tragedy. Stephen Dirks was more than an employee. He was a devoted partner to Jessica Sutter and a father to 3 daughters. His obituary described him as a hard-working teddy bear of a man with calloused hands and a tender heart, someone who took pride in his work and cherished his family deeply. Losing him left an irreplaceable void in their lives. Stephen's death serves as a stark reminder of the inherent dangers in industrial environments where molten metals and heavy machinery are involved. It also highlights the critical responsibility employers have to safeguard their workers. Safety isn't just about ticking boxes or avoiding fines. It's about protecting human lives. This heartbreaking incident at Caterpillar's foundry underlines the need for rigorous enforcement of safety protocols and a culture that prioritizes the well-being of employees above all else. Fall protection systems like guardrails or restraint devices might seem like basic measures, but in hazardous settings, they are life-saving. Workplaces handling extreme heat and dangerous materials must be held accountable to the highest standards. Stephen's story is a powerful call to action to prevent such avoidable tragedies from happening again. Every worker deserves to return home safely to their loved ones at the end of the day. In honoring Stephen's memory, the industry must recommit to the principles of safety, vigilance, and respect for human life, because no job, deadline, or cost savings is worth a life lost. His passing is a sobering lesson that safety failures have real consequences, and that protecting workers is a responsibility no company can afford to neglect. In today's world of social media, where everyone wants to capture the perfect moment and share it instantly, some risks are just not worth taking. A tragic example of this happened in Houston, where a teenager named Dian Alonzo Smith lost his life while trying to take a selfie with a loaded gun. The story is heartbreaking and serves as a harsh reminder about the dangers of careless behavior, especially when firearms are involved. DeLeon was only 19 years old when he decided to pose with a gun for a Snapchat photo. According to reports, he believed the gun was unloaded, but sadly, it was not. While trying to take the picture, the gun discharged and he was shot in the throat. The wound was fatal, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. This devastating accident shocked the community and highlighted a growing problem: the reckless use of firearms combined with the desire to capture attention on social media platforms. It might be tempting to wonder why anyone would risk their life for a selfie, but this incident is not isolated. Over the years, there have been numerous cases of people, especially young individuals, getting injured or even killed while handling guns for the sake of photos or videos. Social media culture often pushes people to go to extreme lengths to gain likes, followers, or online fame, sometimes without fully considering the consequences. The allure of appearing cool or tough with a firearm in hand can be strong, especially among teenagers and young adults. Unfortunately, many underestimate how dangerous guns are, or they mistakenly believe they know how to handle them safely. DeLeon's story is a tragic example of what can happen when this confidence turns into fatal carelessness. Authorities and safety experts emphasize that guns should never be treated as props or toys. Handling firearms requires respect, training, and a constant awareness of safety rules. The National Safety Council and other organizations have long promoted education on gun safety, urging gun owners and those around them to follow strict protocols. Always assume a gun is loaded, never point it at anything you don't intend to shoot, and keep your finger off the trigger unless you're ready to fire. What makes Dian's story even more significant is how it connects to the wider conversation about social media's impact on behavior. Platforms like Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok encourage users to capture dramatic, eye-catching moments, sometimes leading to risky stunts or dangerous trends. The desire for instant validation can cloud judgment, especially in younger, more impressionable users who might not fully grasp the potential consequences. While social media itself is not to blame, it certainly influences how people act and what they choose to share online. The pressure to be noticed, to go viral, or to appear a certain way can lead to poor decisions, especially when combined with other risky elements like firearms. Dian Alonzo Smith's death is a heartbreaking reminder that some actions have irreversible consequences. It's a call to action for parents, educators, and communities to talk openly about the dangers of guns and the importance of safe behavior, both online and offline. It's also a push for social media platforms to continue developing ways to promote responsible content and discourage dangerous trends. In the end, no selfie, no matter how impressive, is worth risking your life for. Dian's story serves as a sobering lesson about respect. Respect for life, for safety, and for the power of the choices we make every day. It's a tragic loss, but hopefully, it can inspire others to think twice before handling guns recklessly or seeking attention in unsafe ways. If you've ever spent time in a gym, you know there's a unique kind of respect reserved for those who push the limits, the ones stacking plates like pancakes and making it look almost effortless. Vicki was one of those people. A well-known fitness influencer based in Bali, he was admired not just for his impressive physique, but for his genuine passion for motivating others. With over 30,000 followers on Instagram, he wasn't just showing off gains. He was sharing guidance, encouragement, and a love for the grind. But in July 2023, the fitness community was hit hard with devastating news. Justin had died in a freak weightlifting accident that no one saw coming. It happened at the Paradise Bali Gym, a place where he trained regularly and inspired many. That day, he attempted a squat with 210 kilograms on his shoulders. That's about 450 pounds. A serious lift, even for seasoned athletes. As he lowered into the squat, something went wrong. He lost balance, and the barbell, that enormous load, came crashing down on the back of his neck. A spotter was there, but the sheer weight and angle were unforgiving. Justin fell backward, and the impact caused a fatal neck injury, compressing vital nerves that affected his heart and lungs. He was rushed to the hospital and underwent emergency surgery, but tragically he didn't make it. The news spread fast, not just in Bali but around the world. Fellow gym-goers, fans, and influencers shared tributes and condolences, mourning someone who seemed almost larger than life. The gym released a heartfelt statement, calling him more than a trainer or athlete. He was a mentor, a brother, a beacon of strength, and honestly, by all accounts, that wasn't an exaggeration. Justin wasn't just about lifting heavy. He was about lifting people up, helping others find confidence, stay disciplined, and embrace the fitness journey with positivity and grit. He embodied the spirit of the fitness world at its best, passionate, supportive, and humble despite his own strength. His loss wasn't just felt by those who knew him. It shook an entire online and offline community that looked up to him for daily motivation. His death raised serious conversations in the fitness world about safety, spotting, and knowing your limits. Heavy lifting is no joke. Even the strongest bodies can falter when things go wrong. His story is a painful reminder that while striving to be your best is admirable, safety should never take a back seat. Gym culture often celebrates pushing past limits, but sometimes the bravest thing you can do is step back and assess the risk. Vicki's legacy now carries a sobering message alongside all the inspiration. Respect the weight, respect your body, and never take the process for granted. In the world of ice hockey, where flying pucks, high-speed chases, and clashing sticks are all just another day at the rink, no one really expects tragedy to strike mid-game. But that's exactly what happened on October 28, 2023, when 29-year-old American hockey player Adam Johnson tragically lost his life during a match between the Nottingham Panthers and the Sheffield Steelers at the Utilita Arena in Sheffield, England. Johnson, who was playing for the Panthers, suffered a fatal neck injury when he was accidentally struck by the skate blade of opposing player Matt Petgrave during what seemed like a routine play. In the blink of an eye, the match came to a horrifying halt, and the packed arena fell into stunned silence. It wasn't just a freak accident, it was a wake-up call for the entire sport. The footage quickly went viral, and as the hockey community processed the shock, questions around player safety took center stage. For many fans and players, Johnson wasn't just a talented athlete. He was a reminder that even in a game as rough and tumble as hockey, some dangers are simply too great to ignore. In the weeks that followed, authorities launched an investigation, and Matt Petgrave was arrested on suspicion of manslaughter, an unusual move in professional sports, and one that sparked heated debates. Was it just an accident? Could it have been avoided? Was there any intent? After an extensive 18-month investigation, the Crown Prosecution Service concluded in April 2025 that there was not enough evidence to pursue criminal charges. The decision brought a mix of relief, sadness, and a renewed focus on what really mattered, preventing something like this from happening again. The response from hockey organizations around the globe was swift. The English Ice Hockey Association made neck guards mandatory starting January 2024. USA Hockey, not wanting to be caught unprepared, followed up by requiring neck protection for all under 18 players and officials from August 2024. The International Ice Hockey Federation also mandated neck laceration guards in all competitions, including the Olympics. The American Hockey League joined in too, mandating cut-resistant neck protection for everyone on the ice beginning in the 2024-25 season. Even with these moves, not every league was quick to act. The Elite Ice Hockey League, EIHL, where Johnson had been playing, stopped short of a full mandate, instead strongly recommending neck guards, leaving the decision to individual players. Many welcomed the new safety rules, but others worried about comfort, visibility, or whether these changes would fundamentally alter the sport. But for most, the memory of Johnson collapsing on the ice was enough to erase any doubts. In the months following his death, tributes poured in. The Nottingham Panthers retired his number 47 jersey, ensuring no one would ever wear it again. A memorial plaque was placed at the Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham, a quiet, powerful reminder of a young man taken far too soon. And while the legal side of the story has now closed, the emotional impact is still fresh. Players, coaches, and fans alike have all been forced to reconsider just how dangerous the sport they love can be. Johnson's death wasn't just a headline. It became a symbol, a call to action, and a pivotal moment in hockey's ongoing evolution. His tragic passing prompted more than just rule changes. It reminded everyone that behind every jersey number is a human being, and no goal, no victory, is worth the loss of a life. While the game of hockey continues, faster and harder than ever, it now does so with a little more caution, a little more protection, and the memory of Adam Johnson skating silently in the minds of those who lace up their skates.